And it's this for 4 hours.
Welcome to Lightweights Podcast. Today we have Brandon Rogers.
I'm making copies. Move. I'm gay. This is it, people. Let's move. Let's go. It's faster if you roll.
Put that candy back. I'm not buying you all that milk.
You probably recognize him from one of his hilarious videos, his countless memes, or being featured as the lead on the animated show Helluva Boss.
Hi there, I'm Blitz. The O is silent. Happy adoption anniversary, Looney. A new hole. Scatter.
Do you know that a voice acting session is only 4 hours long?
Brandon breaks down the animation process as well as secrets of how he writes the episodes for the show.
You know when you do a book report or like you team up with someone in a class to do like a group project? Viv would bring her laptop.
He also breaks down some of his most iconic videos on the internet.
Well, Atif Fee was a chef on YouTube. Bryce is a very magical character. She's one of my favorite characters.
So make sure to hit the subscribe because we have a very special Hot Ones edition video coming out very soon. Please enjoy Brandon Rogers.
Really love that joke.
There's only one thing worse than
Me. No, it's children.
How did you come up with a line like that that survived generations on the internet?
Because it's not pointed. It doesn't have a message. It's fun and it's funny. You can get away with anything if it's funny. Why are you touching my mic?
Well, not even getting away with it. It's just like that joke was written 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And people still quote it.
It's because it's uniquely clever. And I'm not saying that because I wrote it. I'm saying that because not every day do you get a brilliant joke that comes from the ether and knocks you in the head. And I remember I was 21 when I wrote that joke. And I remember thinking like, this is some shit The Office wishes they had. And like, I just remember being so proud of that joke. And then all of a sudden it became a meme and everyone was like, are you surprised that I'm like, no, it was a funny joke. It's not bad to say that about your own stuff. Like sometimes you just make stuff that you know works. And I knew that was going to work for a long, long time.
Are you surprised the other one of everyone going into panic mode anytime there's an emergency comes around?
That one I love because it comes in more unexpected areas. That one comes in like political chat rooms, or like I see that one come up with like parents on Facebook, or I see that come up in the weirdest, or when something drops, when an artist drops a new song.
Yes, like a silent album just comes out.
Yeah, and then that little girl, the one that grabs the gun, you know, she sings songs in Helluva Boss now. She does yeah.
Did you connect them together? Or how'd that happen?
Kind of. One of the writers on Helluva Boss also worked on Neighborhood Patrol, and he kind of connected that. Yeah. People don't know that Adam Nalen has co-written with me for years, since like 2009. A lot of the projects people give me sole credit for, or Viv sole credit for, Adam was right there with us when we created them.
And he was in your very first series.
Yeah. He was in theater class back in the day. In 2009, and we've been working with each other ever since, and we're still writing with each other today for Helluva. I almost called it Hazbin Hotel.
Don't say those words.
No.
Real quick, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by AG1. I've been drinking AG1 in the morning for the past year and a half, every single morning, so this sponsorship really comes from the heart. AG1 is a daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports the whole body health. Some of the benefits are for healthy aging, daily nutrients and gut health, immune defense, focus and energy, and stress recovery. AG1 is backed by research studies. AG1 was shown to increase healthy bacteria in the gut. It doubled the level of healthy bacteria in the gut. And in a research study, AG1 was shown to enrich the environment of the gut microbiome. Plus, AG1 is proud to share that they've released the results of 3 new research studies on AG1. 97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. AG1 contains ingredients that support sustained energy so you can be the best version of yourself each and every day. Their in-house research team worked with independent scientists and labs to conduct a pilot set of studies on the complete AG1 formula. For me, it really has helped support mental clarity. I just feel so alert and ready for the day. And once I started taking it, my wife started taking it, she fell in love with it, and now we have to compete for the AG1 in the mornings. So if you want to support this podcast, please check out AG1. Take ownership of your health because it starts with AG1. For listening, you can try AG1 and get 1 free year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/lightweights. That's drinkag1.com/lightweights. Check it out. Enjoy my morning drink. Speaking of Helluva, I just finished season 1.
Oh, good for you.
I thought you'd be so, whoa, that's sick, that's awesome.
Is that what you said? I have something for you to react to?
Yep.
That was the news.
Yep.
My dad just has finished episode 208. My dad's halfway through season 2.
How many are going to be in
And he
season
doesn't care about the show. I'm just kidding. He does. He cares very much about it. Actually, a lot of my family just started watching it. How many seasons? What?
How many episodes are going to be in season 2?
Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, I think four more. 4 plus 4 plus 8, 12. Yeah, I think it's 12.
I was so mind blown at the production of it because it's a YouTube show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that term YouTube show is starting to become a lot more ambiguous than what it was a few years ago. Because being a YouTube show meant like, oh, it's subpar. They tried there's always when you were to check out a YouTube show, everyone goes into it thinking, well, they did their best. Let's see what they did.
Right. They raised the standard.
Yeah, as it should be. Everyone do better.
Was it always with the same amount of people? Like, how did she assemble a team like that? How did you even come into it?
Well, I'm gonna lean forward a little bit like this. How's my posture look?
Nice, like a nice C, like a big, large C.
Yeah, from your angle. Okay, sorry. Say that one more time.
How did everyone come into place for Helluva Boss? Because the amount of production on that show looks like it should be on television.
Viv was like Nick Fury, from Marvel's. It's Samuel L. Jackson, and she was the one that went around recruiting each of us like the goddamn Avengers. She went around to each and just made this. Viv. People give her credit as a storyteller, as an animator. I think her true talent is a curator. She knows how to meld groups of people together that work really well. She did it for 2 shows in a row, and they both worked.
And Helluva Boss was the first one that of her spawn.
Well, that's what I say.
What?
That's what I say.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you just jump into that?
She offered it to me, and people say like, how do I get into voice acting? How do I do? I'm the worst person you should ask because I was just given the opportunity. You know what? I will say this. Make YouTube videos for 12 years until an animator finds you and gives you the leading role of a show and says, here, write half of it too. I don't know. Getting into voice acting is tough. It is really tough. And it's not just making a bunch of silly voices like I thought it was. It is acting. It's more than acting. Did you know that a voice acting session is only 4 hours long and you don't go longer than that? As opposed to regular acting, we're on set for 12 hours a day? Voice acting is so condensed. You get in that booth and you are only doing your lines the entire time solid. So just imagine you walk into a booth and it's this for 4 hours, and you're just no breaks, just at a 10 the whole time, and it gets very tiring. So my first week doing Helluva Boss, I told them, I said, they have me scheduled for 4 hours for 2 days. Tell them I'll knock it out in 1 if they give me an 8-hour block, if they can afford it. Here I am 2 hours into the session, and I'm like, yeah. So,
were you in that booth with Richard that first time?
Well, the first time we were all in it together. That was
the whole cast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
That was really fun because I didn't know these people. They were just a bunch of crazy people in a room, and we were all just being crazy together. It felt like first day of an improv class.
And you're in there with people who are on Broadway who are so charismatic. No?
I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that it was Richard Horvitz. I didn't know who Richard Horvitz was until he started speaking, and then I heard this gravel in his voice, and I go, I grew up with that gravel.
Would you catch on?
That's Billy from Billy and Mandy. That's Alpha from Alpha 5. That's Invader fucking Zim. He's from Psychonauts. He did Crash Bandicoot. He did all these things that are very near and dear to my heart. These franchises are very important, and I thought, holy shit, I get a co-star with this guy. So I thought, okay, she got a cool special guest to be in this pilot, this one-off concept for a show. I still didn't think anything of it. And you want to know what pains me to this day? I didn't even go to the premiere. I didn't think it was going to be in. I feel so guilty for not showing up to that thing. I thought it was like a bunch of people that made this short, and they all thought it was really cool. So, hey, let's get together and watch it. And I was like, Do
you know what else you were doing that day?
And I left the recording session early, and I don't remember what I left it early for. Joe, I didn't think the show was going to be popular. Needless to say, I did not think the show was going to go anywhere. I didn't. I mean, I didn't think it wasn't not. I didn't think it wasn't. Let me rephrase that. I didn't think it was going to fail. I didn't think it was going to be what it is now, though. Because we do these all the time. I've done so many little pilots or one-off things with another YouTuber. Just, hey, you want to do this concept? Okay, great. There was nothing to tell me that. Well, I showed it to Adam. I showed us. There was a storyboard that Viv released early, and she was like, "Yeah, this is what the episode's gonna look and feel like." And I showed it to Adam, and he was like, "Oh, right, you're sitting on a gold mine. This is going to be." So he kind of told me it was going to be big, but of course I didn't think. He's like, "No, I know animation. This is going to make a splash on the internet. Trust me." And then I was like,
This is one of the worst Adam Nealon impressions I've ever seen.
I think it was pretty spot on. I could have drooled more, but anyway, yeah, no. So I don't remember your question, but now I'm just going. I thought it was a very fun experience, but I didn't think it was anything that I would ever be talking about the next day or the day after that or the year after that or the 5 years later after that or however long the fuck it's been.
You did a Peacock show, and you have a pretty big role in it.
Yeah, actually, it's okay. No, hold on. I got the. Okay, all right.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, I'm gonna talk like this. How's that? Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, perfect.
There we go. Yeah, I did a Peacock thing. Look, I played a prisoner, and I died. And my mom didn't know that was in the movie, and I got in trouble.
From your mom?
Yeah. She called me, and no, she texted me all in caps, and it was one of those texts where before you're done reading it, you get the phone call.
Oh, shit.
You didn't tell me you were gonna run. No, you didn't tell me I got to watch my son.
Was it a drama?
Yeah.
It's not out yet, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I would have watched it.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. We all sometimes.
No, I'll watch
up.
it. I'll watch it.
That's all right. We all screw up sometimes.
Wait, so what happened? You go to set. It was just one day?
It was a week, and I had a trailer, bitch. What do you think about that?
It's really cool.
Yeah? Is it? Yeah. No, wait. Georgie Leahy produced it.
The movie?
Yeah. She was one of the producers on it, and she's actually how I got cast in it. And one day, producers will start casting me and shit. I won't have to rely on my friends, but bless her soul, she got me in that movie. I wouldn't have been in it without her.
Is it a skeleton crew on Helluva Boss?
There are hundreds of people who have jobs that I don't quite fully understand. Did you mean for the cast or for the
I think for the production of the show, because as creators ourselves, we kind of we do what we have to do to make things happen to get the shot, to get the emotion that we want. So for an animation, I feel like there's so many different departments that you really do need, but you can't not have to make it work.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how I know the very vague steps of animating it. I know that it goes from storyboarding, which we all see on our DVD extras. We know what that is. And then it goes into full animation where you have it's black and white still, but the characters are now moving. Every frame is representative of what it will be.
And is it all done on a Cintiq?
I believe so. Yeah. And then it goes into cleanup. So you have all these excess lines and things that are, they get those cleaned up. Then you get the colors added in, like a coloring book, and then you have compositing, which is like other like fog, lighting effects,
the layering,
the layering of all these different textures and things on top of each other. It's so many things, and then also you have to understand everything has to be designed. If a character holds up a can, what's on the can? Someone has to design that. Someone has to design this mic. Someone has to design the couch I'm sitting on. And so it's and nothing in her universe is standard. It's like a weird, spiky, purpley, specific thing to the style of that setting. And so she not only does she have to find people who are capable of doing all these horrendously tedious tasks, but then people who also have the same sensibilities as she does in terms of the style and the feel of these objects. And so she's really overseeing quite a lot aesthetically, and to be able to still keep this much of her own flavor through everything, working with hundreds of people, it's really hard. And this is it's not the same people working on both shows. She has a whole crew of people for Hazbin
Hotel,
and a whole crew of people for Helluva, and
she show runs both.
It's insane. I don't know how the bitch sleeps.
What's really cool when you're watching the show, obviously you appreciate the art, the animation, the storytelling, And that's where you really get to see written by Brandon Rogers. What does the story writing process look like for you on that show?
A lot of pacing back and forth while Adam is on a laptop.
So it's you and one or two other people in the room?
Usually it's the three of us. We like to keep it the three of us when we're in a room, like tossing ideas around like a hacky sack. Tossing salads, eating ass, taking episodes. Yeah, we used to go for season 1. Vivian and I met at Lancers a lot. Lancers is a little restaurant in Burbank, and we would just go there, and we liked it because it was all old people. And it still is.
You can steal their wallets.
You steal their wallets.
Prey on them.
No, we stole their hearts. Well, at least they're pacemakers. No, we would go there almost every night or every other night. We would meet at Lancers. We would order the same thing, and we would just stay there for hours and just talk about. And
were you writing stuff down as ideas for the show?
We were writing down episodes. We were like coming up with we came up with episode 1, 2, 3. Basically, the whole first season we came up with at Lancers. Yeah.
Is that done on your phone, or are you guys writing in notepads?
Viv would bring her laptop, and it's when you do a book report or like you team up with someone in a class to do like a group project, there's always the one who's like getting everything down on the laptop. Viv was like that person. She's the one that kind of scribes everything down, and then me or Adam, we would just kind of be tossing out ideas and. The great thing is that the three of us don't really butt heads hardly ever, if ever, on an idea. We all kind of agree on what the best one is. So if I had an idea and Viv comes up with something better, Adam comes up with something better, we all kind of unanimously agree with, oh, yes, that one, that's the best idea. So I think having, like I said, the same sensibilities, Vivian, Adam, and I, we all kind of have the same... We agree on what's funny. I don't think we've ever disagreed with, I don't think that's funny. We all laugh at the same shit. So that makes it really easy to write a comedy.
How did that process vary from your own series? Because you pretty much do your own writing, and then you'll have Adam help you on your show. On your series, correct?
It's not that different from how I do my stuff. It's, if anything, it's exactly the same. We'll go to a restaurant, or we'll go to one of our houses maybe, and we'll just be in the living room hanging and talking about ideas. It doesn't take much. It never took much for us to get into the writing zone. We could be in like Disneyland and be like, oh, I had an idea for this episode, and suddenly we're doing it. And so I think a lot of people think work is work and play is play, but to us it's all the same. So a lot of writers are like, well, we have to set up a meeting. We have to have a meet. It's like, or you could just call one of them and just say, I have an idea. What do you think about this? You like it? Boom. We're writing it down.
Oh, that fits in perfect.
How much do you love your shit? Just like for us, we're obsessed with what we make. And so if I were to get an idea right now, I'm throwing this mic out the window. I'm picking up my phone. I'm calling Adam.
Break the door. I don't care.
We'll see.
Throw it in the bathroom. I can get Roto-Rooter back here.
I'll tell you what I'll do in your bathroom.
So you have obviously the beginning, the middle, the end, and then as you guys come up with ideas, oh, that would fit perfect right before the middle, and then we can fill this in, and then you kind of just build it out like that before you have roughly a 10 to 15 minute episode or whatever the length is that you're going for.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of it too is like, what's the key moment of this episode? I think a lot of episodes have a key moment, and then you kind of crystallize everything off that moment. Well, in order for this moment to happen, we have to have a parallel moment in the first act that it'll mirror later, and then we have to have this 3-act thing happen in between here, and then it kind of then grows from there. You find your most pivotal point, and then the rest of the episode kind of serves that its purpose. The 3 acts will always find themselves. Eventually you're going to get to a point where like, yeah, this is the beginning of the episode. Let's see where the characters are, where we left them off, and there needs to be a twist or a cliffhanger or something at the end. We inherently know these things, and they'll come into play. But it's the key moments and how the dance of waltzing your audience to that key moment. That's where it's like, okay, how do we savor that, getting them to that moment, and then what does that key moment mean for the next episode, for the greater arc of the, So, and Adam and I grew up. Same with Viv. We all grew up nerding over television. We are children of the '90s.
What do you think is the best written television show?
Possibly Breaking Bad. I think, because it feels like it was accomplished with the ending in sight. Now, I don't know if the ending was in sight when Vince conceived the series, but it feels like he told one coherent story and he knew where he wanted to take his characters. It felt very realized, and that show, not just Breaking Bad, Better Calls, a lot of his writing, it brandishes a form that I try and use in my stuff a lot. I think it's cool to feel like something is a finished idea as you go into it, as opposed to like, oh, we'll see where this lands. Hopefully it'll stick. Or hopefully we'll land on our feet.
Was that a similar thing for your show, Stuff and Sam? Because that was 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And I feel like, was that the series where your very last episode was almost like 20 minutes? Or was that Blame the Hero? Was that pre-planned, or that was just you wanted to keep adding more to finish the story?
I think it's a little of both. I think you know what you want the last episode to have, and then you finally get to the last episode and you're like, oh shit, it's going to require all these other things that we've come to know along the way of the series. The last episode usually for me is always the longest one. Because it's the victory lap. A good last episode is a fun victory lap of everything that you've come to love about the series, no matter how long or short the series is. That last episode should feel like the most fun, and it should be the longest one because it's a cap, and so yeah, like for Helluva Boss, for instance, we know how it's going to end. There's 4 seasons, and we know exactly where the characters are going, and so it's nice knowing that these characters that the fans care about so much, we know their destiny, we know where they're going, and I think a lot of the fans, it is scary falling in love with a character who the creator doesn't know where it's going to go. That's a little scary because it's like, but we do know where these characters are going to go, and whether it's good or bad, their final resting place is predetermined, and I think that there's something cool about that. There's something about their storylines where no matter how bad or good things are for them at any point, you know that that's where they're supposed to be. It's like in life when like a weird coincidence happens and you're like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here and now. That's our characters all the time. They're supposed to be everywhere and everywhere, or they're supposed to be then and there wherever they are at all times. And so yeah, Viv has a way better grasp on the mythology between the characters than I ever could.
Have you ever thought about the ending of Blitz and how you'll feel that your character is officially, his story is told?
I think it's going to feel really good. I think it sucks sitting on elements of his storyline that I can't share. For years, I had to sit on the fact that he killed his mom, and then he had this whole dark backstory. And
oh, spoiler! Season 1.
Season 2 has been out for a while, so if you haven't seen it yet, you really don't want to. Yeah. Anyway, what was the question?
How are you gonna feel when he comes to an end?
Well, it's definitely gonna be sad, but like, look at Invader Zim. That show isn't on anymore, but Richard Horvitz, that character is still alive and well within Richard. Whenever I go to a con with him and I see all the people dressed as Zim and I see him becoming Zim, and it's like the character never really dies. It's never really done, which is kind of cool. And not just Zim. I see a bunch of other characters. I see the Rugrats. I get to see people from Ice Power Rangers. These characters live on with us. They retire with us. And so even though, Helluva Boss has a finite point, it'll always be part of me and my life and the culture around me. And I'm that's really cool to think about. It is scary when you're doing something you love and it's not going to be forever, but isn't that life? And this is just a really cool garnish to a really cool life I already had before this, and now it's even that much cooler. So I'm just thankful most people don't even get a full season of any show. We're 2 deep now. We're gonna get 4. It's so, and there's Hazbin, which I actually don't know the fate of Hazbin. I'm not on that creative team, so I don't know what the ending of that is, or I don't know how many seasons they're planning to do with Hazbin, but that's exciting, being on a project that I know has a finale in mind, and another one that, for all I know, doesn't. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be sad when the last episode comes out, because then the anticipation of what's going to happen with Blitz or what's going to happen with this other, when the last episode with my character comes out, that would be a bittersweet day for me.
In your opinion, what series had the best finale?
Of the ones that are on my channel?
No, all of television.
It's hard for me to not say The Office. I had a talk with Adam about The Office finale.
At the series finale or when Michael left?
Series finale.
Do tell.
And the last 5 minutes I just thought were so well orchestrated. We watched it recently, Adam and I, the Office finale. And what's great is that it every character's last bit of screen time or their last bit of dialogue, it exemplifies who they always were as a character so well. Phyllis, all these years I worked at a paper company, I never wrote anything down. And it's just like, that's such a Phyllis line. That's just such a Andy with where it's hard to tell you're in the good old days before you've left them. It's someone should write a song about that. It's just like they leave each character off. Creed goes to jail. And the last person we see is Michael. The last voice we hear is Pam. And she's talking about ordinary things being made to be extraordinary through a documentary. Boom! Even the series itself was exemplified and wrapped out. So I think that a lot of shows spend so much time on like this epilogue with the characters in the last episode that's so removed from what the show originally was. And even though The Office had that same format with the epilogue, the last scene still took place in Dunder Mifflin with her at the desk, with him at his desk, with him. Everyone was kind of, for a moment, reminding the audience, remember what made this show what it was this whole time? It was these little moments and these little tropes with these characters. And then it ends. So you end with this very familiar feeling in your mouth, taste in your mouth. And it's just a lot to learn from that. It's like, wait, when you end a series, especially a sitcom, what was it known for? Like, what did people resonate with? And I love Breaking Bad, but like you have to admit, like that last episode, tonally at least, felt very different from the orange, gritty New Mexico, like run and hide from the, he has hair, he's in the snow, the characters are all different places now, and that worked for that series. But for a sitcom, I think The Office did it well, where it's like lean into the familiar, lean into what we all kind of are, because sitcoms are like a comfort place for us. And I can't think of very many other, like Seinfeld, for instance. Like, I guess them being in jail is indicative of the show being that they always had bad luck. I didn't hate that ending, honestly. I really didn't. I don't know why everyone did. As a kid, I was like, that's kind of funny. They're all in jail. Like, I don't know.
Did you watch Dexter?
No, I know what he did though.
At the finale?
No, he killed people.
Oh yeah. Well, in the finale, he ends up going to Alaska, and the whole show is taking place in Miami.
Oh.
So he's in a completely new setting, and he's a lumberjack then.
Oh, I don't like it when a character does that, when they go to the snow. I hate that.
It's almost like an escape.
I just think every time a character goes to the snow, I just think it makes me like the character less. It makes me like the story less. I don't find the snow to be a particularly interesting setting.
It feels more like a cop-out.
It feels like a cop-out. Oh, this character cowered it away in this fucking cabin. And it's like, oh, okay, they're chopping away, and then someone has to go and recruit them back into the game. No, let them fucking rot out there into the wild piece of shit. I think I think that the last episode shouldn't be taking new risks and new settings. I think it should stick to what it's a victory lap. You can do your victory lap on another lap? No, you're going to do it right there where you've been running in circles.
Have you ever done a finale of one of your series that, looking back on, you now do not like?
Not really. The finale is always the episode I spend the most time and attention to detail on. I've been very proud of all the because at that point you figured out all the kinks of the show, and now you're just giving a satisfying conclusion to all these little story pockets. There are a couple shows I've done in the past where I didn't have a finale for it, and I guess if that's something I regret, I wish I could have wrapped things up or finished it. But it's only because like my career just went in a different direction. I was doing a series called Going Viral. We got one episode in, and then all of a sudden I went viral, and now I'm making Grandpa, Mom, Helen, this, and so yeah. There isn't a finale I made that I felt sour about. I think they're all. I love them all equally. I don't know. Maybe this series. We'll see.
Excluding Class X.
Excluding Class X.
If you were to tell someone to go watch your videos and they had to watch one series, what series would you tell them to watch?
I think Bryce is a pretty good one. I really that I put my whole Brandisi into. It was my love letter to the 80s. And the 80s are a very magical decade. Bryce is a very magical character. She's one of my favorite characters. So it was one of my favorite time periods, one of my favorite roles. And one of my favorite story arcs. I like a success story. I've always wanted to tell a success story, and Bryce was a character that I was saving that for. And so I like seeing. I personally root for characters who build empires and grow themselves and almost become corrupted by the end of it by all their power and money and fame. I like a really good anti-hero who climbs up.
Can you break down your human centipede video for me?
Yes. Well, I had my friend Katie and Adam. We were the centipede, and we were sucking on. We're sucking butts. Okay, and we used chocolate pudding, Jello. That's my Cosby.
Because he was a voice for pudding.
Yeah. So actually, I was the A, so I wasn't sucking no one's butt.
I assume you wrote the script for you to be A.
Of course I did.
How'd you get someone to be the mid?
Well, see, my friends, the three of us, we thought Human Centipede was so funny.
Great movie.
We died. We watched the first one, laughed our asses off. We watched the second one, laughed even harder.
Isn't there a third one?
There is.
That the prison one?
That one is disgusting.
Too far.
It is. There's like 50 of them in that fucking thing.
I think 100.
Oh,
it really goes.
Were you there?
I was 99.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
But I wasn't 100.
You know what's funny, though, is actually when I talked about Human Centipede recently on my Instagram, and someone commented, they're like, I was the last one. I was the one at the end.
Oh, actually, that's cool. I'm surprised you don't see the doctor at these cons.
I heard the actor passed away.
I think he did.
Dieter Laser, I think was his name. I don't know why or how I remember that, but I think that was his name, and I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was that guy made the movie.
So good.
You saw the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we just said that. That guy from the second one was really good, too. I mean, I will hand it to... because people just say Human Centipede... I think that franchise got eclipsed by, like, the concept being shocking. If you can get past the concept, like... There are some elements in the second Human Centipede that I think make it one of the most distinct and most accomplished horror movies ever made. I like the fact that it's in a universe within its own universe. Like, I like that it's... Okay, Human Centipede 1 came out. This is how a fan would react to Human Centipede 1. And then he brings in one of the actors from the movie. And then the shit was the only thing in color. And it was spackling on the and actually in our video it spackled onto the camera lens too. Yeah, because it's not a perfect stitching, and so some of it's gonna go AWOL, right? And right on the lens. You can't make it go on the lens. You have to just hope it does, and it's brilliant when it does. Yeah.
If there was one character in your world who got a series next, who would that be? Or who deserves it the most?
I think a lot of them do. I think my mom character does. I think Helen. I think my Luxie Leroy, my salesman character. Luxie Leroy. I'm Luxie Leroy. I'll tell you what. I'll take 2 for 1. It's a 50% off one item and free shipping on the entire order, and U.S. and Canada substitutions apply. I have a really hard time getting out of that character. When I'm him, I talk like him kind of for the rest of the day. He's a little bit of like a Texan auctioneer. What do you call them?
Yeah, like the auctioneer.
He's a little bit of Beetlejuice. He's a little bit of like just any kind of car salesman you see on TV in the 90s. I'll tell you, come down here, I'll get this off sales. We'll have poker, good time. I feel like half the words they say, they don't even know what they're saying.
Do you know how he fits in the universe already?
Yeah. He's it's funny because he's probably my most corporate character in a way. He was born out of brand deals. Well, let me come up with some sleazy salesman. Then Luxie Leroy was born, and then I just ended up loving him so much. I love that blue suit. I love the hair. he's I feel like I know what car he drives. I know what house he lives in. I know so much about him. And I think I realized that salesman, that Texan salesman type, is a character trope I've just secretly loved all my life and never did anything with. So I have a feeling there's a lot of other characters in me that are untapped and unexplored. Because if he was sitting in me for all those years, I'm like, there's got to be other types of... Bryce was one of those characters. I loved a 90s corporate woman for so long before I made her. And it took just putting on red heels and seeing myself in the wig and the shoulder pads to go, boom, I can be her. And then I saw Luxie Leroy, and I'm like, boom, I could be him. So I think all I have to do is just buy a wig or buy and put it on and be like, oh, this is that type of person I've always kind of admired. I can be that.
Did you come up with the concept of how they'd fit in the universe prior to putting them out?
No, I think these characters represent types of people that I know of in my head. Like we all know the soccer mom or a Karen, or we all know these character types. I think once you see it, you see yourself as that person, or you see a physical embodiment of that character, then you go, oh, they probably know this other character. They probably shop here. They probably do the... it's like when you go people watching and you're like, oh, she's probably cheating on her husband with this guy, that's probably not even his daughter. It's probably his niece, and he's, whatever. I don't know. But the characters are kind of the same way. It's like once I see, especially when I see them on screen or in a mirror, I'm like, oh, I know everything about this person. And I think it just takes seeing it, honestly. I think when I lost a lot of weight, that made a lot of my characters blossom or start to come into the ether.
In what way?
Well, I really liked wearing different outfits when I lost all the weight. I liked putting on different clothes, and I realized I can play these different characters. Even if I wore these outfits that looked good on me now that I lost all the weight and I would never wear this in real life, I can make a character who does wear this in real life. I can make a character who wears this thing that I could fit into now that, when I was 260 pounds, and you don't feel like being a mom in a tracksuit when you're like that. You don't feel like being fucking Sam. You don't feel like being these other characters. Not that these characters were even around, but when I lost all the weight, I realized, oh, here's all these other outfits I don't mind wearing. So now I'm going to make all these other characters that come off them. So there's a big correlation with when I lost all that weight to when I played all these characters. It's like all of a sudden, Sam, Helen, Grandpa, Mom, or not Grandpa. Sam, Mom, Helen, Elmer, my Japanese girlfriend, Bryce, Jurgen, all these characters were created within just a few months of each other. Just a few months, all of them. I was just cranking them out. And it was because A, I lost the weight. I loved wearing these new costumes. I loved being these like new characters. And B, once you put on the costume, you realize you can be those people. You look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I get it. I understand this character now. Okay, I'm going to go play them. So point is, sometimes you just throw on a wig and then the rest comes to you. And you're just like, oh, okay. And then you know what outfit to wear. You know what makeup to,
So did you workshop Jurgen? Are you in that character days before you're filming the video to make sure that...
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
Just you in your apartment?
Or when I'm driving. I'm just talking to myself in the voices. Helen,
Don't do Jurgen while you're driving.
Don't do Jurgen while you're driving.
I can't see.
I can't see what I'm going to do. No, Jurgen was an amalgamation of this like, I don't know why, my roommate at the time, we would always do this German accent all the time. And I think, and not just German accent, Jurgen was kind of this character my roommate and I always did at home. He wasn't necessarily a blind character, but he was like this like German idiotic, like, today I'm going to make a scrambled egg. Like, so I think I just applied that kind of character we were already doing at home to this blind fashion designer. And by the way, Jurgen is another character born out of a corporation or a company. Jurgen was another character that was born out of a company needing me to advertise for them. There was a clothing company called Iron Fist, And they said, "Can you?" Yep, couldn't make it up. But they wanted me to play a character there. I said, "Can I play a character in your factory? Can I play you, essentially, the guy who owns the company, but he's blind?" And I said, with a name like Iron Fist, my audience wouldn't think I was advertising. They'd think that's part of my universe. And so we went to they agreed. We went to the factory. I created a blind character because I liked the idea that there was someone creating fashion who didn't even know what the fucking fashion was. And that it was all the geniuses around him that are holding this company up. But he thinks that they're all idiots, that he's it's because of his designs that they're successful. So and then once I realized that because that video did well, and then I realized, well, if people are responding to this character, what are some other versions I can do with him? And then what if he cuts hair? And what if he's working and he's holding like blades up to people's like heads? Just again with the same confidence from the first video, he's just snipping and cutting. So yeah, some of my characters are brought out of me by other people. Someone needed a video about that clothing company, and Jurgen was born. Someone needed me to sell dildos. Luxie was born. So it all depends on someone will commission a character in a way for something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm keeping it.
I was trying to figure out who I wanted to see a series of, and Jurgen was the one that I wanted a full story of. Because to see him go from where he was to where he is to where he's going, I thought would be so cool.
Yeah. Jurgen is a really him with the fashion empire, or just him being him. He's the only character I have that's like a free artist who's very and
anything could happen around him.
Yeah, anything. Anything. Yeah, it's fun because he's in his own world.
And then the world's happening around him.
And what's fun is painting to the audience what his world is. We know what is happening around him.
Yes.
But it's fun having the audience kind of imagine with him where he is.
Yes.
And no, I love it. And I love him because he's so sure of himself. He's so confident, and he doesn't say anything he doesn't say the word maybe. He's just like, yes. This is where I am, and this is what's around me. It's like, okay, all right. You're on the bus. It's all of my characters come from different places. It's not like I just have the same process with coming up with them, and they all come out of the same hole. They all come out of different places.
Different orifices.
Different orifi, I think is the pluracular.
Can you explain to me who Atif Fee is and why so many people recognize you from that?
Oh, Atif Fee, God rest her soul. Well, Atif Fee was a chef on YouTube, and she was one I was obsessed with for a long, long time. Well, actually, she was kind of I don't think she was on for that long. Now that I think about it, Atif Fee basically was this cooking channel that blew up for a while on YouTube, and I was obsessed with how she would very energetically create these recipes, and they were good. We would end up making them because at the time we were my roommate and I had no money. We were shopping out of the Ralph's clearance section, and so you have this YouTube chef who makes these really affordable meals, but they're really funny. The videos were hilarious. So we're laughing and we're quoting her, but we're also making what she's making. And before you know it, Atif Fee became such a part of our lifestyle. We're making her food, we're telling her jokes. And I'm like, I'm already doing a YouTube channel where I make parodies of stuff all the time. It was only a matter of time before the drag in me decided to claw its way out, and I had to do my own drag take of Atif Fee. And it was a video that I remember writing it in under an hour. I wrote it with a marker on a piece of paper, on this piece of scratch paper.
Your quotes of what you were going to say?
The whole video, word for word. We wrote the whole thing down, and it was because almost everything I was saying was a version of what she was saying from one of her videos. We were just okay, how do we condense all of our favorite moments of Atif Fee, make them that much more crazy, and then put them all in I think it's 2 minutes or something like that. So we it was and I wanted to make a third one with her. That was the original plan, was to do a third one because she lived in LA, And I thought, oh, well, we're probably not that far from each other. We probably go to, like, I can go to her house or she can come to mine. And and then unfortunately, you know, she passed away. But it was a big obsession of mine for a while. Her recipes and her jokes were very frequented in my kitchen.
How much of your videos is dialogue written versus improv on location?
It's mostly written. Improv is fun, but I don't trust it. I can always tell when shows are improvised. And not in a good way.
It doesn't feel as strong.
No, it doesn't. I think if you have a good actor who can make something scripted feel like it's off the cuff, that's what because then you're in control of the timing, of the cadence. With scripted, with improv scenes, I can always tell there's something off with the pacing because the actor's having to think of the line, and unless you can deliver it, you know, in a way that's even as I'm talking, you can hear these pauses and whatnot. It doesn't make for a good scene, and I don't know. I like, for instance, like Parks and Rec or any other, like Arrested Development is a great example. You know, that's made to feel very off the very throwaway. Every line is just very casually said, but the rhythm, Arrested Development has a very specific rhythm to it. You can't be specific with your rhythm if the actor is kind of willy-nilly coming up and, you know, on the fly and thinking of, because then they're in control of the pacing of that joke, and then you have them do it again and they can't replicate it the same way. How much of it is scripted, how much of it is acting? To answer your question, I would say 80% of it is scripted. I don't like leaving it to chance. When you're not a union project and it's coming out of your pocket, you're not just gonna spend all this money on renting a set, renting your actors, and then hope it comes together because it's an improv scene. I don't take that chance. I write everything out. If an actor says something funnier, great, we'll use it. But I don't trust them to. So I make sure that we at least have something funny enough on paper before we get to set.
What an interesting, smart, valuable lesson.
Thank you. I feel like you also know that you've seen this on our shoots firsthand. You know it could because it's happened before where you show up on set and you hope you'll have the idea when you get there, and then you get there and you're sitting in this expensive costume on this expensive set with
Yes.
these expensive actors, and you're just like, okay, come on, guys, we have like 5 minutes. What is it going to be? What do I say? I don't know. Never again.
Yeah, because really the only improv stuff is like if there's an extra room that we didn't get to see prior, it's like, oh, we got to take advantage of this.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
really like the majority of it.
Or if you have extra time. For instance, today we were on a shoot. It was a beautiful set, and we finished 2 hours early. So I say, all right, everyone, let's make TikToks. So we just used the set to film TikToks, and
You just knocked it out that quick?
yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just have extra time on a very beautiful location, and you're like, well, I don't want to just leave early. Let's get something out of this. Let's film something.
Right.
And that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think after this series is done, I'm going to be focusing a lot on either short form videos or short form or shorts. Like I think vertical stuff is really going to be I don't know, part of me's been wanting to not let go of the cinematic format of this. I call it hamburger style, but now everyone's doing hot dog, and I just hit this, and I think I'm having a hard time letting go of like, okay, no more cinema, hot dog style now, but in a way it's kind of better for character acting because it's shaped like a character, first of all. Well, unless the character's dead, but but it's. I'm trying to understand. Or I'm trying to lean into the fact that this could even be more conducive to what I do as a comedian. The fact that everything is TikTok form now, or vertical hot dog form. It's like this kind of is better as a character actor because you're now like in portrait mode almost. You're like, oh well, it's not like you're having to create a vignette or a scene with actors in a set, and So I can focus more on just like the characters themselves, as opposed to like the story, the setting, the plot, all these other things that a long form horizontal video would require from you. Now it's almost like this new format is making me, okay, Brandon, just focus on the characters only, you know.
I'm excited to see you explore that, because I feel you'll get the hang of it and really discover how to hit it.
I think so too. I think now that technology has gotten so good where you don't need green screens anymore. Like I no longer have a green screen in my place. I got rid of it because just everything, like it's my phone is so, I would never, if I were to do green screen on a horizontal, like something I'm shooting like this, I would go to a studio. But like everything now with the, like, you can just cut yourself out so easily on the phone that yeah, I've just, technology is getting so fucking intense. Like I think in 10 years, I think a child could essentially make Cloverfield.
Totally. Super 8?
I mean, like, it's, well,
Wait,
I mean,
no, Super 8's the cinematic one. What am I thinking?
Super 8, well,
Super 8's kind of handheld at those scenes when
yeah,
they're making it.
it is.
Yeah.
It is by the same company, I think.
Yeah.
It was by Bad Robot, wasn't it?
I think so.
Anyway, I think the fact that Kane Pixels, do you know anything about Backrooms or Kane Pixels? Joe, I swear to God, before I even look at you, I know the answer is no.
That's not true. I know backroom casting.
Get out.
Sorry.
I hope you cut to the wide on that. Anyway, Kane, I highly suggest you look him up if you have. Do you know anything about the Backrooms?
No.
This is a whole other thing you need to. The fact that you are that this is untapped, this is a whole community. Okay, so. And you don't have to. I'm only saying this so everyone knows this already, so you can cut this out.
I'm the only one who doesn't know.
Kind of, actually.
That's embarrassing.
So in like 2008 or like a long time ago, there was this photo. So all these, you know what liminal spaces are even, Joe? Okay,
No.
You don't. Okay, so. Liminal space is a place you don't stop and stay, or it's not a place you live in. Like, think of airport lobbies, hallways in an office space. Think of like very uninviting places that are meant to be passed through. And there was a subreddit where all these photos were being posted of like liminal spaces that look unsettling. Like, but for them to be unsettling, they kind of have to be from the 80s or 90s. Like, think of an abandoned mall where the camera is taken low grain with the flash, and you're like, it's just empty and it's kind of crooked, and they're meant to make you feel like this anxiety, like almost like places that are closing, old, dingy off. So there was an office space that a photo. And I'll show you a picture of it. And it was this office that was just empty, and it blew up on Reddit. Backrooms original photo. Sorry, I'm so happy that I'm the one who's telling you about this. Okay, so it's this photo. I don't know.
Never seen it before.
But it's like an unsettling photo, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just, where is this place? Are we at an abandoned furniture store? Is it closed? So this 16-year-old creator saw that photo, and it's this whole creepypasta about how that space is one room of about 600 million square feet of randomly segmented office spaces that you can get lost in it. And if you're not careful, if you make a noise too loud, that means it heard you or something, and there's something back there. And so the whole internet went crazy off this fucking photo, and they started creating this whole lore of what the back is. It's just this maze. If you no clip out of reality, like if you go out of the wall or something, that the back rooms are just outside of reality. So this 16-year-old made a short film called The Backrooms on YouTube. 16. It's entirely CGI. And it'll blow your mind. It's like 10 minutes long, and it's incredible. It looks so real, and it's like he gets lost in there with the camera. And anyway, that kid now has his name's Kane Pixels. He blew up, and he now has like a deal with A24, and they're making a movie on it.
About his movie?
No, about the back. Like, he's directed, or he's like making the Backrooms movie.
Wow.
With A24.
Yeah,
anyways,
Backrooms.
You don't have to use any of this. I just wanted to be the one to educate you on Backrooms stuff.
60 million views. Oh, wow. This is all CGI?
No. Well, the beginning part isn't, but watch when you know clips.
I see clips. Like, I'm going through the rooms.
Yeah, that's all CGI.
Wow.
And he was 16 when he made that. It's been a couple of years, but like, yeah, a kid put that together. So that's why I'm saying, like, a kid's gonna gonna just shit out fucking Cloverfield one day.
Oh, it's a horror.
That's a horror. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Watch it like it's very well done.
Okay.
But he has a whole series. It's like that's just one video of a bunch. So when that blew up, then he did like part 2, part 3, But now he's making a movie. But yeah, it's very, very fascinating. So now that AI is on the rise too, so you have like kids who can do that on their own. But then that was before AI. So now that we have AI technology, it just makes me think, okay, 5 years from now, literally a kid could just make this grand masterpiece, entering a few prompts, learning Blender, or what is that, Unreal Engine, and so like what will be impressive? What'll be impressive?
Random side note. Is Hazbin Hotel a drag show at Hamburger Mary's?
Is it a drag show?
Yeah. What was that thing you were at?
Oh, that was a one-night thing. They did a whole drag show that was themed like Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So was everyone from LA? All the drag queens were from LA dressed up as characters?
Yeah, they were local drag queens. I go to local drag shows all the time in other cities. I rarely see local drag queens here in my own hometown, so it was nice supporting the local ladies. But their
outfits were insane.
They were fucking incredible. And their contacts, they were scary.
And they invited you, Viv, and other people out to come see it?
Yeah, they had us at the VIP table right there on the stage, and we watched them sing and dance songs from the show, songs from I think some of them were fan songs that they lip sync to.
Were any of them singing your songs?
No, it was a little homophobic in that regard.
So weird.
Yeah.
When you're doing a rock song for Helluva Boss, do they record that the exact same way as if you're doing a voiceover? Are you in that same booth with the same mic, or do you have to sing it and there's a vocal coach there?
Yeah. Usually the guy, Sam Haft, who is the genius behind a lot of our songs, the songs that I'm in, he's there when we're recording them. Yeah, and we record the songs in the same studio, but the person who wrote the songs is always there, kind of making sure that we're singing it exactly the way they're supposed to be sung.
And are you listening to him sing the scratch track and then you try and match it?
Yeah. Imagine like listening to your favorite like Disney song over and over and over on your way to work because you have to sing that song when you get to work. That's how I think of it. Like if we listen to songs enough, we can do them, and or at least we can know them by heart. And so I try and listen to, if I ever get a song, I try and listen to that song as many times as I can on my way to the studio and sing along with it. Of course, you want to get yourself familiar vocally with doing that. But especially with Blitz does a lot of fast singing. So you have to really make sure that if you're going to get hung up on something, it's not going to be memorization of words. It's going to be music or melody or something, cadence or something like that, but not memorization.
It's so cool hearing you talk because I heard Blitz, like his little twang come out and you're like, nah.
What's crazy is there's Blitz AI covers of songs, which is Blitz AI. It's just Brandon AI. There's nothing Blitz about it. It's just my voice. And it's
great.
It's kind of cool because I'm like, so that's what it would sound like if I sang whatever, I don't know, the fucking fill in the blank. But yeah, it's also kind of sad too because I'm starting to hear like AI basically will tell me what it thinks my voice sounds like. So if I hear an AI cover of a song in my voice, I'm like, oh, that's the elements that it's replicating. Okay, all right, then yeah, there is a twang in my voice. I don't choose to put it there. I think when I was born, the good Lord just came that twang down into my throat, and now it's just stuck in here.
Is there a quote that people ask you for the most when you're at these cons?
Probably, I'm sorry I fucked your husband. Yeah. Blitz fucks people's husbands. These are all the souls that you've collected.
And that's you. You're right behind you.
Yeah, it's like the Conjuring room. Do you I think you twos are better than Pops. And I don't give a fuck if Pops are listening to this. Hey, no. Pops,
Why? What's the difference? I feel like the quality is the same.
No. U2's is way better.
In what way? The way that...
Well, first of all, in the way they gave me fucking dolls.
Oh, U2's... That's why you're a fan.
Well, but also, they're more character accurate. Pops look like Pops. U2's look like the source material.
Right, but does U2's do people? Because the ones... Pops are people.
They did me.
As Brandon Rogers?
Yes.
As your character?
Yes.
But wasn't it more like character-y?
Well, yeah, but they had the gap in their teeth and my fucking skin color, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I've seen them. I don't think they're that... like, to do Sandy Cheeks is so much easier than doing Brandon Rogers in real life.
That's true, but they also... They just have more detail to them. Like the accessories, the paint job. They're like... It's like better... It's like a better product.
You love PJs.
Huh?
PJs? You love PJs. Paint jobs.
I do. I'm a big PJ fanatic. I can't think of... Yeah. You know, I used to put glow sticks in my mouth. Well, I'd put the fluid.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Isn't that poison?
Of course.
And what happened? You just had a numb tongue?
I don't remember.
People did that in middle school. Is that when you did it, or you didn't? Did you do it recently?
No, I did it in more recent than middle school. I did it in high school.
And what? You just had it in your teeth, and you're like, "Girl, look at me."
Yeah.
Anything bad happen?
No, I used to put it on my body too.
I know a kid who put a glow stick in his pee hole and he couldn't get it out.
A glow stick?
Yeah, one of those the little ones.
Oh, the thin ones that basically look like a catheter already.
Yeah. Why would you put it in there? I don't know.
You couldn't get it out?
No. I don't know what happened.
You just pull.
I think he got it stuck in there. Like he put it in. I know. Doesn't it like make you hurt?
So aren't those things like that's...
No, I think he did. Like, you know how there's the long one, and then you have like the tube suction, and then you kind of have like a little mid cap.
Oh.
I assume it was the mid cap. Kids were crazy. I know a kid who had a tick on his wiener too.
How did that happen?
Playground.
I grew up on the playground. I wasn't fucking ticks.
I don't think they were hooking up. I think it crawled up on him. Besides, I don't think a tick would. Maybe the tick would be the best because they suck on for life.
Oh my god! You know what? I don't. I think growing up, I never got bit by anything fucking weird.
A bee?
I did. I got stung by a bee, but that's not weird.
Yeah.
That's bees are everywhere, and bees are cool. I never got attacked by anything weird. You know, I found a cub in the forest.
A bear? Mm-hmm. Where was the mama?
She wasn't far. It was.
Shut up.
It was. Did I not tell you that?
No.
It was in Yosemite. I was about 8 years old. I was obsessed with safari shit. I loved the safari hats and I wanted to be a safari person. So my mom bought me a safari hat and we went camping and I went off exploring. I didn't tell her I was leaving. I just went off and I went into the woods and I found a dumpster and I found a little baby bear in the dumpster. And I was like, oh, baby bear. And I was playing. I didn't know. I knew bears were dangerous. I didn't know baby bears. I was just and it was a very friendly bear. It wasn't doing any. I didn't get any threatening vibes from it. It felt like a dog.
Black, brown, polar.
A little brown bear.
Their mamas are big.
Well, so then I went and I'm like, Mom, I want to show you something. And I bring my mom.
And then he went to go get his mom.
Well, actually, kind of, because we got back and the mom was there.
Brandon.
It was really scary. My mom freaked out, and they called the park ranger, and
euthanized it. Thank God.
They euthanized the baby. We ate it that night, and it was that. Yeah, once I got a little older, I realized how serious the situation was. But I remember seeing the mom like in the darkness of like because the sun was going down. It was like dusk. So I remember seeing like in the darkness, like the mom was like waiting with her baby as the baby or the cub was going back to the mom and I was like,
as you and your mom were approaching.
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, oh, there's So it was really I'm very lucky that I'm still alive. I'm very lucky I never got bit by anything crazy.
I just watched The Godfather.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it.
Brandon, this was, as a cinematic man, This was one of the best viewing experiences I've ever had.
Is it good? Like it was good back then, and nothing had ever been done before when that came out. Because
Yes.
every time someone says this movie, it's a classic, and then I watch it, I'm like, I see how this is a classic back. I said this is an amazing movie for its time, but I missed the train of wow.
I'm the first person to hop on that train and be like, don't watch it. It's in the 80s. Put yourself in that position and kind of watch it like through that lens, and then watch The Offer, which is how they made it. It is one of the best viewing experiences I've had of my life.
Okay, I will definitely take your word for it, because I do like a lot of the stuff that you've told me to go check out. So I will check it out. Also, I'm afraid, you know what it is? Movies that are hyper masculine turn me off, and I think I only know The Godfather because of all the hyper masculine, like, hey, you're one of the men, hey Tony, I tell you what, that's all I know about is my little friend.
Let me give that's Scarface. Let me give you the background though on
I haven't seen that either.
The background on The Godfather is that the mob got involved in the making of it. And that's really what fascinated me, because as you're watching all of these scenes, you know the hurdles that they had to go through.
Wait. In real life?
In real life. And Frank Sinatra is portrayed in The Godfather. So it started out as a book, okay? The book came out, bestseller. There's an artist in the book who's portrayed as Frank Sinatra. He's named as somebody else. So right off the bat, Frank Sinatra did not want this movie being made, and he was using all of his power and all of his weight to try and make sure that the movies didn't make this movie, because it made him look like he didn't get to where he was without the help of the mob. So he felt disrespected. He wasn't happy with it. Then the Italians did not want it because the book made Italians look poor. It made them not look like good people. So they didn't want the movie being made, because if this movie came out, everybody would disrespect Italians. They didn't like the way that it was portraying them.
Oh.
So now there's the 5 families in New York who are all mobsters, and they're denying the existence of the mob to the FBI, and they're getting in bed now with Paramount Studios saying you can't make this movie. Paramount Studios is like, we're going to make it. Joe Colombo, one of the 5 families of the mob, claims he's like, you're not making it. Frank Sinatra doesn't want this movie being made. They send people on set to make sure that the movie is being made in a certain way. Mobsters end up being in the movie.
Holy shit.
It's crazy.
And so did they like the final outcome?
They get a 3-hour script. Paramount's like, absolutely not. We're making it an hour and a half. No one wants to see a movie this long. As producers and directors, you see them how the hurdles that they have to go to get the movie made that they want to make. And I think that's what's really cool about the making of it.
I did not know that.
That's the perspective that I went in with it and was blown away.
Well, I will check it out. I definitely will. I need to see that. I need to see The Godfather. I need to see La La Land. I have not seen La La.
I didn't watch that either.
I know. I haven't watched. I did not know that.
I did not know you didn't watch it, but I get it. Did you watch Planet of the Apes, the new one?
No, is it good?
One of the best movies I've ever seen.
The one that it just came out this year?
Like 2 weeks ago.
In theaters?
Yeah, it's majority CGI, and blown away at the storytelling. CGI is incredible. It's like you're seeing real monkeys.
Is this a reboot, or is this like
it's like in the series.
Okay.
But it's worth it.
I still like it with Helena Bonham Carter and her lips and the eyes.
Is that the old one?
No, it's like the mid one that no one remembers.
With James Franco?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, no, you'll love this one
and
too.
They're all, yeah. Oh, I'm very excited. What else is coming out this summer that looks
Did you see The Strangers yet?
No, is it good?
I didn't see it yet. If anyone's seen it, let me know if it's good, because I do want to see it, but I need the recommendation first.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared it's going to be boring. My worst kind of horror movie is boring, jump scare, boring, and done.
What movie is like that for you?
I don't know, but I remember one of the Annabelles was real lazy with how it ended, where there was just pushing on the doll, and you're waiting for something to happen, and then it just cuts to black. That's lazy. It's lazy. I didn't make it lazy. It's okay that you made it lazy, but you just did it lazy. Oh, well, that's your movie. Movies are forever. So,
Brandon, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for making me come.
Go check out Brandon's videos. He's going to be linked down below. His new class acts. I'm going to be shooting a couple episodes. That's going to be sick.
You are.
Not the first choice. Maybe not the second.
You are a choice.
I am a choice. And that's what's important in life.
Look at this angle. It looks like I'm not wearing anything.
You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame that these are white because it's going to be whatever color it is when I stand up.
Lightweights. Oh, cool. That was sick.